For the big game breakdown today, we're going to take a look at New Orleans at Golden State. Game open, Golden State -4, 220. Still sits at 4. A little movement early up to 4.5, but total is bumped up to 221. So we're looking at Golden State -4, 221. Important game for each side in this contest. New Orleans trying to hang on to the sixth spot, which comes, as we know, with an automatic berth into the playoffs. No play-in game needed. They're one game ahead of the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix right now owns the tiebreaker over New Orleans. So ending the season in a tie with the Suns doesn't do New Orleans any good. They need to get that sixth spot by defeating them outright. Game's very important to them. Also very important to the Golden State Warriors, who are actually trying to move up to the number 8 spot in the play-in round. This way they can theoretically win one game to get into the playoffs. And you could lose and have to play another one. But for Golden State, it would be easier to try and get there with just one victory rather than ultimately having to win two. So again, the game is of ultra importance to each side. They're both on back-to-backs with travel. Last night, Golden State took it kind of easy in Portland. Portland had them close all the way, and then Golden State pulled away second half. But the Warriors, having the luxury of playing Portland, allowed them to rest Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Gary Payton II. All will be vital parts here today. New Orleans didn't have that luxury. They got pressed. They got up to an early lead last night against Sacramento, 23-point first quarter lead, and then they were just pushed the remainder of the game. They won by double digits, but it wasn't that easy. They had to keep responding to Sacramento rallies, and New Orleans went straight 7-man rotation. Nobody really in that 7-man rotation got worked real hard. Trey Murphy, the third 44-plus minutes, he logged the most minutes, and then came CJ McCollum, 39-plus. So they didn't look like big minute totals, but they were kind of tough minutes for the Pelicans last night. These teams have played twice. They've both been blowouts, but they haven't met in 3 months. So it's hard to take anything from those games. I think one was won by 28 and the other was won by 40-something points, each side getting one. I'm not sure the Pelicans can shoot the basketball the way they did last night against Sacramento. It was lights out for New Orleans. 57% from the field, 55% from three. CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy III, absolutely torching the Nets last night. Golden State's defense, by the way, last 10 games ranked number 4 in defensive rating in the NBA. So Golden State's been tightening up on the defensive end. This is a game of contrast, much like what it was last night for New Orleans. New Orleans had the size advantage. Sacramento had the speed advantage. It's just about the same here tonight. New Orleans combination of Zion and Valanciunas down low obviously have a huge edge over the Warriors. And the Warriors, of course, deeper rotation, much better in the open court. And they've been playing their brand of basketball as of late. I'm going to side with Golden State here. This is a tough call. It's a huge game. That's why we're using it for big game breakdown here. But I'm going to side with Golden State -4 to get the job done here. So that'll be it for your big game breakdown. Golden State Warriors -4. Here's today's best bet for Friday, April the 12th, NBA action. Huge card today, by the way. No games tomorrow. Everybody tonight will have the day off tomorrow, and then Sunday will be another large card. But out of this card here, meaningful games, non-meaningful games, I'm just going to go with something that's been very, very good as of late. Mechanical play. Used it the other day here on the show. We'll go with it one more time. We're going to ride this Charlotte over train. They play the Boston Celtics in Boston tonight. Charlotte, which recently decided at the beginning of April that they were going to go to a smaller lineup featuring Grant Williams at center. Grant Williams, by the way, question mark next to his name tonight, as is Nick Richards, the taller center for the Charlotte Hornets. They could be just as small if neither goes, but I would suspect Grant Williams probably wants to play back here in Boston. Regardless, Charlotte has taken on a little bit of an offensive nature, and they've been a lousy defensive team for quite some time. Head coach Steve Clifford, who is on the way out here at Charlotte, going to move to a front office position, actually said before the prior game that they're a better offensive team when they go small with Grant Williams at center. And it showed up the other night. They beat Atlanta 115-114 in Atlanta, played hard the entire way. I know at this point in the season, with only a couple of games left, motivation, a big factor for a lot of handicappers. And a presumption all the time is that teams who are not going to be in the playoffs or who are not jockeying for any type of playoff seed, basically don't care and there's no motivation. But Charlotte's the exact opposite. They have played hard down the stretch. They're going to be playing for a new coach. So it's a young team that's excited to be playing these games. I'd expect them to play hard here once again. As I mentioned, they've been much better offensively, now averaging 107.8 points per game this month, which is up about 7.5 points from their prior 10 games. So Charlotte, certainly the offensive switch has paid off for them. Talked about them winning the other night, 115-114. Not that they'll have great confidence coming into Boston here, but they will be ready to play. For the Celtics, we saw some starters last night. The Celtics do close the season here in Boston on Sunday against Washington. So it's not their last home regular season game. And I don't even know that in fact matters for a team that's going to have home playoff games. I think this is a determination by head coach and organization. Who do we want to rest? When do we want to rest them? There is a long layoff between Sunday and when the Boston Celtics will next play. So it's probably going to see a mixture of starters sprinkled in between now and Sunday. I don't think that matters. Boston's bench scores just as well. You got guys like Sam Hauser coming off the bench and Peyton Pritchard hitting threes. So for the Celtics, I don't know that the offense tones down any here, regardless of who's on the floor. They're an excellent home shooting team, and they're playing the 29th ranked defensive efficiency team in the NBA. So plenty of shots for opportunities for points here for Boston. I think another big factor in this is the Boston defense. They're just not playing with the same passion right now, knowing that they have everything locked up, especially on the defensive end, where last night we saw the Knicks against a bunch of Boston starters go for 118. Remember, the Knicks don't play with any pace. They're a more efficient team than Charlotte, but Charlotte plays with extreme pace right now. Going to create a lot of opportunities for us. I thought the number looked low in this game at 217.5. Basically, you probably need Charlotte to get to 102 in this game. And if they do, this thing's going over because Boston's going to get theirs no matter who's on the floor. So this number is low now, could go higher if Boston does announce or when they do submit their injury report for tonight. If you see some starters are going, this thing's going to boost from 217.5 to who knows where. So we're playing it early. We're playing it as a best bet. Boston home tonight against Charlotte. Full game over, 217.5.